A lot more baseball news going on
A lot
right
of
now.
openings.
Holy shit. This morning, the Phillies announced that they fired manager Gabe Kapler because someone had to be the scapegoat.
There was so much hype around that Phillies team. There was so much money put in that Phillies team. They were expected.
Their money that was put in them was in one player.
But they thought that was the missing piece.
They needed some more pitching, really.
Right, but that's not the perception around the fan base. Perception was like, the fan perception was like, oh, we got Bryce Harper, one of the best players in the league, who really isn't, but that we should at least make it to the playoffs.
Well, Kapler is the third consecutive Phillies manager to be fired after no more than 2 full seasons as the manager of the Phillies. The Phillies tried, with their front office, they really were trying to go by way of the Dodgers business model, really going to a very heavy metrically sound organization. That's why they brought in Gabe Kapler, who is with the Dodgers organization. And this firing does not sound so much like it was the front office's decision. It seems like this is coming from ownership, which gives me some serious Dan Snyder fucking vibes.
Yeah.
Because it made it very much seem like, it seems like the front office was strong-armed into it, and there were some quotes about it. I'm indebted to Gabe for his steadfast effort, energy, and enthusiasm that he brought to our club. We are unquestionably a better team and organization as a result of his contributions. Well, if that's the case, why are you firing him after 2 years when you're trying to go in this new direction? A new direction like this usually doesn't happen in baseball within 1-2 years.
Yeah.
This is like a
You're not even really
plan.
pointed in your direction in 1 year.
Yeah. So this was going to take time. This was always going to take time, but I guess they figured
I think once they got Harper, they just assumed that everything would kind of come together a little faster because that's a major piece.
Yeah,
is what their brain is thinking. But it didn't happen,
especially to the fan base there.
Yeah, but if you're not bolstering your bullpen and more arms, it's all gonna be for nothing. Offense was not the Phillies' issue. The offense in Philadelphia is pretty damn good. Harper was definitely a big piece, but if that's the case, why aren't the Nationals sitting there with 3 rings?
Hey, I know. I've been a Nationals fan. We had Harper, and we were like, the National fans were just like, all right, get rid of him. It doesn't matter anymore. We don't need that guy. That's not what wins you a World Series.
He's not the only one that was fired. They announced a week ago that they fired pitching coach Chris Young because he was the initial scapegoat, and I guess it just wasn't enough.
Not in Philly. Not with that fan base.
Hitting coach and former manager Charlie Manuel will return in his role as a senior advisor. And the new manager will inherit the remainder of the coaching staff, which alone is fucking weird. If you bring in a new manager, the manager has to hire his like-minded type coaches. Mm-hmm. If you're just putting someone in place, then what's the point of bringing in a new fucking manager? I don't
not to switch sports. People are walking by like I'm. They're like, what is she using? What's all that?
Is that one of them computers?
That's what I'm thinking is going on, though, with the Lakers. Not to switch sports, but people want to bring in their staffs. They want to bring in people that they know work with them and work well with them. Whereas I think front offices, no, we want minds that think differently. But it's not about minds that thinking differently. It's about minds that are able to communicate with each other effectively and can kind of do like a checks and balances system when it comes to coaching staff, in my opinion.
It's when the management tries to assert control over the coaching staff in any sport. It never ever works.
Yeah, and right now, after yesterday's game, you got so many fucking Dodger fans calling for Dave Roberts' head. You jackasses! Don't you dare fire Dave Roberts. That's an insane idea. Gabe Kapler, I wasn't ever sure was the right fit in Philly, but if you gave him some years and you really pushed in that direction that you really want to do, fully metrically minded organization, and their goal was to be really at the cutting edge of it, giving him 2 years is a baffling idea.
I just think what happened with Philly, though, babe, is that I'm just still thinking about this, is that they saw all these name brand coaches being available. And they pulled an Angels. Well, that's the only thing I can think of.
They already announced that they want a manager with managerial experience. So I guess the idea is that they're going to go after someone who is a storied type manager. But the problem with that idea is that leaves you with like 3 names.
Yeah, there's not many out there.
That leaves you with like Buck Showalter, Dusty Baker, and maybe Joe Maddon and maybe Joe Girardi. I also think Ron Washington's in there, but Ron Washington. So this is kind of unprecedented to me right now. I have never seen a season where nearly a third of managerial jobs are currently open. 8 jobs.
That is insane.
That is so many firings.
But some of it's not even because they underperformed. Like I said, it's just people are for some reason wanting to go after these managers that, quite frankly, like they just are names.
Well, let's
They're
be real
name
clear.
brands. It's name brand stuff.
Yeah, it's already a foregone conclusion that Joe Maddon's going to the Angels. In fact,
Oh,
that's
yeah, we knew
why
that
the
right
Angels
away.
fired.
We knew that the minute they fired Brad Ausmus.
Yeah,
That's what
they fired Brad Ausmus because Joe Maddon was available. This is it's weird because it's history repeating itself. It's exactly what happened in Chicago. Joe Maddon left the Rays, and immediately, all of a sudden, the manager in Chicago, who Ricky Renteria, who's now the manager in the White Sox, he was fired immediately.
Yeah.
He didn't do a bad job. In fact, he got them on the first step to the right track, and they just, Joe Maddon's available, get rid of Ricky.
Yeah.
And Ricky had like 2 more years left on his contract.
Yeah.
So they just paid him not to manage. And Joe Maddon goes over there, and it's just the same exact thing because Brad Ausmus, I believe, has 2 more years left on his contract. So he's just going to get paid these next 2 years. Ausmus
not a bad thing.
No, it's not. But Ausmus did interview yesterday for the San Diego Padres job. I'm pretty sure he is on the short list over there. Another manager name that's on the short list over there, which I really love, is Ron Washington, who is the manager of the Texas Rangers, went to the World Series a couple times. He was part of the whole Moneyball coaching staff, and then he's been on the Braves staff for the last couple of years. He, I think, be a great fit down there as well. Let's go through it. The Mets, job opening. Cubs, job opening. Angels, job opening. Padres, Royals, Pirates, Giants, and now the Phillies. Holy shit.
Yeah. And 3 of those teams have won a World Series in the last 5 years.
I know. You got the Giants have won a World Series. The Kansas City Royals have won a World Series. The Cubs have won a World Series. The Pirates had a pretty big surge a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They've kind of fallen off. There's a lot of rumors that the Giants' job is going to be going to the bench coach of the Dodgers, which the president of the Giants was the president of the Dodgers beforehand. Now he's over there. So it seems like that would be a pretty good fit. Everyone already is a foregone conclusion that Joe Maddon's going to the Angels. Padre job, it looks like it's probably between Brad Ausmus and Ron Washington. I really like either option for that. But it was announced the other day that Manny Machado did kind of plead with the Padre front office to give Buck Showalter the job, who I think would also be a tremendous choice. But this is the thing about Buck Showalter, though, and Mike Scioscia, who I think would also be a guy who might be up for the Phillies job. Those are the type of managers that need absolute control.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are not going to listen to your GM. They'll work with your GM, but the final say goes to Buck Showalter.
In which case, I'm all for him going to San Diego.
I don't know. AJ...
Disruption.
No, hot takes. Hot takes by Jen. Buck Showalter, I think, would be a great fit in Philly, but the problem is if they're trying to go that direction that they set forth with Gabe Kapler, then how is Buck Showalter possibly a fit there? I don't see it. Buck Showalter needs to be in charge. Yeah. Same with Mike Scioscia. There's a lot of rumors around in Chicago between Joe Girardi, but there's also rumors with him at the Mets. I think he's personally a better fit with the Mets.
Yeah.
The Cubs job, I still think they're going to go after Sam Fuld. But now everyone's putting out there that they want, seasoned managers.
Yeah, but seasoned managers want control. You have to know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Do they want that, or do they want to still exert their control over the organization, over the product on the field?
Exactly, and the way baseball is working with all the front offices being really just in charge. Front offices for the most part make the lineup. Not for the most part. Most front offices now, most teams' lineups are made through the metrics and through that system. So Bobby Guerin probably going over to San Francisco. It's just. What can he say? It's just out there. Everyone thinks it's a foregone conclusion that Mike Matheny's going to take over the Royals job. after being the Cardinals manager for all those years, of which he did win a World Series.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of new faces being thrown around at the moment.